Hey guys, how are ya? So this is the first of a new experiment, I suppose. I'm going to run 2 streams, one at this time. I'll try to do it a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week. And I'm going to do other streams at 9 p.m. New York time. So hopefully people from different time zones will have an easier time accessing the live streams. I hope everybody is well. Let me know that everybody can hear properly. Say you can hear. That would be useful. And then we'll jump into the subject. So I discovered actually something new with the software I'm using. I'm able to hook right into my iPhone. I wasn't aware of that. So let me just show you quickly. It's something I'm going to incorporate in later builds. So this is my this is my iPhone feed. So you can do a little. There we go. You can see myself live through the iPhone. That's pretty good. So anyhow, that's cool. So I'm sure I'll be able to find a use for this at some point in the future. Anyhow, that's kind of cool. As a nerd, I can appreciate this this tool. All right. Well, how many people we got now? So yeah, thanks for joining the stream. If you like this subject, give me a thumbs up, please. And then I'll jump into the subject at hand, and then we'll do a little Q&A. All right. So boom, 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 bang. All right. So that's not it. So here is one of my sites. And I wrote this article way back, and I got somebody asking me questions about it today or yesterday, whatever it was. So it's interesting. People are still reading articles I wrote in like 2012 and way earlier, in fact. So I thought that was interesting. But since there's some kind of interest, I'm going to read this quickly, and I'll update anything that may be out of date here. But I think it's probably pretty good. So what is the difference between WordPress and Dreamweaver? This is a question that is popping up, so I figured I'd answer it. First of all, they look the same from a non-nerd's perspective, but they are in fact very different from each other. Dreamweaver is a web design program that you install on your computer. WordPress is a content management system, basically a bunch of PHP pages that you install on a web server, not your home computer. A website built with Dreamweaver can be uploaded to any web server. When you build a website with WordPress, the website and WordPress become one. You need to have WordPress running to run a website because the website is dynamically being generated by the WordPress engine. The engine is just basically a bunch of PHP. Dreamweaver is like a set of power tools that can speed up the web design process. WordPress is like a Lego game where all the pieces are already made and all you have to do is snap them together. Finally, WordPress is free and Dreamweaver is a commercial product that costs hundreds of dollars, or I think it's under a licensing fee by now. So what do I mean by WordPress is dynamically generating web pages? In a nutshell, when you create a website with WordPress, your website is actually being stored in a WordPress database. When someone comes to your WordPress-based website and clicks on a link to see a page, WordPress grabs the web page from the database and builds it on the fly. This building of web pages on the fly is why it's called dynamic, because each time the page is requested by some visitor, the WordPress engine rebuilds the web page using information stored in the database. So when should you use WordPress and when should you use Dreamweaver? This was a trick question because there are really no This is a trick question because they are really not competing projects. In fact, Dreamweaver has built in tools that are designed specifically to work with WordPress. You see, regardless of the details listed above, both Dreamweaver and WordPress in the end generate web pages. You can use Dreamweaver to help create WordPress visual templates called WordPress themes with Dreamweaver's WordPress template tools, or you can just use basic HTML and CSS skills to edit the WordPress templates by hand. My advice, if you are looking to build a site for a small business, then I would learn a little HTML and CSS and then use WordPress to build the site. You don't need to spend $400 on Dreamweaver to build one site. If you are looking to become a web designer or are planning on building many sites, then you may want to learn WordPress too. There you go. So that's an article from one of my sites, How to Build Websites, from way back in the day. And somebody was asking me questions about that, so I thought, hey, I'll address it in a vlog. If you have any questions regarding that, so that was written 2012, believe it or not. But things haven't changed. WordPress back in those days was very dominant in terms of software. It's still widely used, there's no question, but it's not nearly as dominant as it used to be. Is Dreamweaver a must-learn tech? No, it's a need to nerd. Is it good technology? I haven't used it in years, but I'm sure it still is pretty good. They were good at writing clean code and so on. They have a lot of tools that make the process of building your visual part of your websites much easier. The same thing with, I'm sure I would be surprised if Dreamweaver today doesn't have tools built in to make it easier to work with WordPress as well. No question about that. I would be very surprised. So, yeah, what's this? What's this big blob here? Okay, how are we going? All right. All right, so listening while working, Troy. Okay, greetings from Sicily. All right. We can hear you, Sue you. See me, I imagine. Hey, from Guatemala, what sort of questions is this? Haha. Never would have thought of this comparison. Well, there was a question I got put to me, and it got put to me again today. So everybody's got different levels of knowledge. I try to help. Why should you use C++ to make an intro? I think what Ivan is saying, an intro into the market. Let the job market decide that. All right, what are we doing here? What else? Hello from Poland. Hello from Rome. As a junior IT sourcer, I found your streams to be a ton of help. Oh, I'm glad I could help. Thanks for telling me. Greetings from Mars. Us Martians love your videos. We're still waiting for Elon Musk to arrive. Greetings from Jordan. Ah, very good. Well, greetings. So, that was my Dreamweaver bit, you know. I think Dreamweaver, it's still there. It's not nearly as big as it used to be, but I'm sure a lot of people still use it. I haven't looked at it in a long time, so I'm not sure how capable it is. There's so many competitors these days, but I'm sure it has its use, you know. So I wouldn't discount it, you know. Don't let the tools or the programming languages define who you are as a professional. They're just tools. They're just tools. Okay, so what do we got here? Hello from Ireland. All right, good. So, what's the next thing I want to bring up? I got this question here. I'll bring that up on my forum. And I thought it would be interesting to discuss here. So we got this guy here. Why I'm keen on freelancing to get independent from my engineering job that will soon no longer be remote. I was wondering what you thought about instead of using my 20 plus years experience as a control systems engineer to pivot to a business owner and attempt to buy an already profitable business. I found a quote business guru because that inspired this idea. Not that I am yet convinced to buy the program. One aspect would be to buy a business, but I would provide a value and potentially raise profits. Any feedback on this idea, it would be appreciated. That's a good question. So, you have a highly experienced technical guy looking at maybe getting into business for the first time. You have to do so with extreme caution because business is a skill and it takes time to develop that skill, and you also have to have a predisposition for it as well. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you, but you better do a lot of what they call due diligence. You have to ask yourself, if somebody is willing to sell their business, what are the motivations of selling the business? Why are they selling the business? You got to look at the business, the health of the business. Does it have a lot of cash? Does it have debt? Does the business have a steady flow of clients? Do you depend on very key personnel in that business to make the business function? And I could go on from there, and there's many considerations. This takes a business eye. This takes a business experience to be able to discern that. So what you might want to do, he's an experienced control systems engineer. You may want to see if you can find somebody who's an experienced entrepreneur, experienced business manager who can look over this deal with you, to be able to look at this with an experienced mind. Yeah, don't underestimate the value of that type of consultation, because experienced business people are able to see things about businesses and business opportunities that you probably won't be able to see as somebody who's never done it before. I've seen that before. I've seen people I've known were very close to me who decided in their later years, after decades of experience in an operational role in a company, and highly technical and very intelligent people, and they were over their heads in terms of business, like new business mistakes they were making all the time. And they just couldn't see it because they were just noobs at business. I hope that makes sense. All right. Hello from India. Your channel is awesome. I appreciate that. Is WordPress a good platform to avoid complex APIs and make full stack websites for clients? I would not make, well, it depends on the nature of the website, first of all. If you have to develop some custom system from scratch, you're much better off using a tool like, write the code raw using some sort of MVC framework, PHP Laravel, Python Django, Python Flask, whatever, Node.js and Express, etc. It depends on the project. If it's an information-heavy site where people are just posting information, writing blogs, posting video, maybe doing some simple e-commerce transactions, then WordPress might be suitable for you in that situation. Yeah, so what else do we got here? Hello from the UK. Glad to see you in a civilized time. That's it. I try to accommodate. Yeah, if you like this time, give me a thumbs up. What's the difference between R and Q SDK in React native API levels? Oh, I don't know. I have to look at that. I have not looked at it. I want to do projects involving JavaScript. So do I need to learn all concepts of JavaScript or just go through the fundamentals? I'm good. As long as you understand the fundamentals, the key fundamentals, and what are you going to do here? What kind of project? Depends on the type of project. If you're doing client side, you got to learn the fundamental language constructs in JavaScript, the fundamental architecture. Then maybe if you're doing client side, then you got to learn the DOM, of course. Then you should jump into it, and then you learn the rest on a need-to-nerd basis. All right. Stefan Mishuk. When are you going to do parachuting, jumping from a plane and land on your feet? I would never, I'm not big into that. My thing, if I ever was lucky enough, I would love to spar with Mike Tyson, get in a ring with Mike Tyson. That would be fun for me. I'd rather do that than jump out of a plane. That's for sure. What do you think about Ruby on Rails? Ruby on Rails is a viable but niche technology, and I think it's going to continue to fall into niche. Nice time. Glad. Good. Hello from Idaho. Already know JS, React. How long will it take me to learn WordPress? Oh, pretty quick, man. A couple of days, you'll be up and running. WordPresser versus Dreamweaver. Winner, Ruby. Always Ruby. How do I block this guy? How do I block them? Okay. Good evening, dear sir. Every WordPress site looks the same most of the times. Is it worth to go with Webpack and React maybe instead? You can change the look of WordPress to make it to look any way you like. WordPress is a good site to use if you want to have articles and you want to put up. It's an information-based site. It's a content management system. If you need to do any, think in terms of functionality. If you need to expand functionality beyond that, then you're going to use some other platform or maybe develop from scratch. Again, the look of it is entirely up to you. The WordPress theming capabilities are extremely powerful. You can make it look any way you like. This is a great time for the stream. Thanks. Glad. I'm trying to accommodate. Hey, Steph, great content as always. What is your opinion on the best way to learn WordPress or Excel at it? Just install it and go through the basics, all the control panel, understand what the different, all the functionality you have. So you just, and just use one of the basic themes / templates that come with WordPress. There's so many you can just download right in WordPress. And then I would, once you're comfortable putting up a WordPress site, configuring pages, understand pages and post and security and levels of access. You have administrator, you have editor, you have, author, all these different levels. And once you've done that, then you're going to start exploring the wider world of the WordPress ecosystem. All the plugins that are available, all the themes that are available. You have very intelligent themes. Some themes are just more template oriented. A WordPress professional is its own thing, and it's very valuable in the sense that a good WordPress professional not only knows how to install WordPress and configure it and lock it down, they understand what's out there in terms of WordPress world. Half of WordPress's value is its ecosystem, all the templates, all the plugins that you have. There's my advice on that. Greetings from Romania. Greetings from Montreal. Sorry, my voice is a little weak. I'm not feeling too well today. So let's see if I can darken this image up a little bit. There we go. A little bit too bright. And saturation. All right. I'm just playing with my image. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. What do you think of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and Go for freelancing? Yeah, sure. You should do, again, shameless self-promotion. You should do my freelancing, my HTML web stack courses. You're going to learn so much so quickly. Just read the reviews. Just go to Google, type in studioweb.com reviews, and you'll see all the reviews, and you can decide. And then from there, you get all kinds of different opportunities for you. Let me show you something. So I got something I want to promote here. This is free. Now, links are below this video. You go to newsletters.stefanmistruk/Komodo. Lizard Wizard Komodo. So these are email tasks that I'll send you. And you get one every 3 days. And it will train your brain. It will help you to learn more quickly, help with anxieties, help land jobs. Believe it or not, it's very advanced psychology training. So I invite you to check that out. Lizard Wizard Komodo. It's free. Newsletters.studioweb.com/Komodo. For people interested in the career, here it is. Now, here's another link. Again, link is below the video. You go to newsletters, Stefan Mistruk, Coder's Career Path sign up. Anyway, links below. And you get access to a free 29-minute video webinar, which walks through all the languages that are out there, and like C++ and JavaScript and PHP and Python and C# and Java. And it will help you, this webinar will help you to understand the type of work that you would do given the language and the type of company you might work for given the language. So this is, again, they're free. Just check it out. The link is below the video. I like this. Free, I'm in. Okay, so this guy is liking the course. That's good. That's good. What's the other one? One last one. So yeah, if you want to, people ask, do I have mentoring? Yes, I do have mentoring. Studioweb.com/mentoring. Link here. And you can check out my mentoring program. It teaches you lifetime access, all the pro level coding, hundreds of video lessons, 1,000 quiz questions, certifications, soft skill training, job prep interview, resume building, landing your first job, support group, mentoring, blah. You can read the reviews. Tons and tons of information for you here. Check it out. Again, people ask, so here it is for you. So Coder's Career Path, free webinar. Lizard Wizard Komodo, free training for your brain. And we did this already, so there we go. So let's get back to the Q&A. All right, do you have a course about the Lizard Komodo? Well, Lizard Komodo is based on the principles and the technique that I teach in Lizard Wizard. So if you have Lizard Wizard, you'll understand the principles are expressed. So Lizard Wizard is my course. That's paid. It's not expensive. But then you got Komodo, which is free, which is it's a mixture of training and practical. And so you're going to get a bunch of tasks that are going to be sent to you via email, and it's free. And as you execute on these tasks, you start training your lizard brain. And I give explanations as to why you're doing it. Or if you want all the detail, you got the main course. It's not necessary to do the course. I have learned Laravel. Which path in freelancer would you recommend? Laravel's good. Laravel PHP, go out there, put up a nice demo site and start talking to people. You'll start getting gigs, I'm sure. WordPress equals magic. I've been a headache for 4 months of learning this, and I feel like I'm getting worse at it. Well, in that situation, what you got to do is you got to take a couple of days off, take a break. Go relax, go do some exercise, drink some coffee, drink some water, whatever. You want to take a break, but don't let it dissuade you, because anything that's harder, takes a little more work to get over that wall, is more valuable. So don't give up. It will come. Trust me. One day you wake up, you'll be... I understand it all. I'm telling you, it sounds silly, but it's actually, that's what's going to happen. So don't give up. Do you have another one of these big-time money-making programming stories from your past? Story time, please. Well, I have the hugest money-making story. One of my original Studioweb students, and then a guy came to work with me, and then he became the lead developer on Studioweb for some time. He went off on his own about 7 years ago to start a startup. He's supposed to come in, actually. And now his startup, by the end of the year, could be worth $1 billion. $1 billion. So one of the Studioweb students actually is a co-founder. Soon enough, it's worth a lot of money now, but soon enough, it could be worth $1 billion. And who's invested with him? Big players. Google. I'm not sure Sequoia is with him. Salesforce is invested with them, amongst other major players. So he's the biggest story. I signed up for Lizard KOMODO last Friday during the stream, but I haven't gotten an email yet. You should get an email right away. Have you checked your spam box? Check your spam box. If you haven't seen it in your spam box, send me an email with the email address you used to subscribe, and I'll take a look, see what's going on there. Hello from Bellevue, Ontario. Hey, how are you, man? Should I learn Laravel to build websites or go for WordPress? What are the advantages of learning Laravel? Because it seems like WordPress has every plugin that you can desire. There are two different use cases. You use Laravel to build web apps from scratch. Studioweb, my own web app, is Laravel based. So if you go, let's see, Studioweb. So this app here, Studioweb, this is all, well, this is actually, this front end is, I think this front end is even Laravel, but enjoying the beginner's course, Stef. I'm glad you like it. Thanks, man. Again, I'm just going to point this out because it's always amazing to me. People, they're not aware that people follow me for months and they say, Stef, do you have any courses? And they go, yeah, of course I have courses. So I have to, so if you go to school.studioweb.com/store, you find here my store. I got all my courses, Complete Web Developer, Python, CSS, JavaScript, etc., etc. Lizard Wizard is my Lizard Wizard course here. Anyway, enough of that. All right, let's see what we got here. Hey, Steph, do you know why some topics like learning about API have long learning curve? Is practice the key to shortening the learning curve? It's always about practical application and practice. Write code, write code, write code, write code, write code. So you're on your way. If you're going with WordPress, go with Oxygen Theme Builder and Gutenberg. Yeah, I've heard about Gutenberg. Why 29-minute video webinar? Why not 30 minutes? You know, round figure. It just happened that way. When I'm, as you can see with my live streams, I don't need to prep for stuff terribly. I may write 1 or 2 notes. I just riff out, you know. Actually, I'm doing a live presentation for some India-based school system, I believe. I'm not sure. Where I'm talking about starting a business, bootstrapping versus VC, the pros and cons. So that should be live on Wednesday, and I think I'm going to post a copy of it on my channel Wednesday afternoon, so you have that. Maz says, hello from Switzerland. I love your videos so much. Big thank you. You gave me courage. I feel less dumb at learning. Ah, cool, man. No worries. I like your avatar. Cute dog. Yeah, No worries. Listen, I'm reluctant to say this, but I'll say it. The problem that people have with learning how to code online is the vast majority of courses are thumbs down. They're taught by people who don't know how to teach, so they make it unnecessarily hard for you as a student. And a lot of them, it's clear to me, they're just beginners. They haven't done really much in a way of real world coding. So unfortunately, somebody sees a well-presented course in terms of guy's a great salesperson, but when they actually get into actually trying to learn, they find a lot of difficulty, and they mistakenly think that it's their fault, that they're dumb. 99% of the time, it's just because they're just not being taught properly. There are good courses out there, don't get me wrong. The problem is there's a sea of bad ones, so it's very hard to discern. It's a bit of a pet peeve of mine because I come from a family of teachers. My father is a teacher for most of his career, aunts, uncles. Right now, my immediate family, retired and still active, there may be 15 teachers in my family. So it's basically, it's something close to me. $1 billion value seems like must have something to do with machine learning. They actually do have a machine learning component, but that's not the business. That's a good guess, though. Any SQL course? Yeah, in my full stack course, there's a course on MySQL and SQL. It's basics. You learn about CRUD, and you learn about the basic operations and how to build a table. It's basic, but it's still there, enough to get you going. Worked originally with WordPress and Weebly Tech. I was so frustrated and saw all the issues that come with those CMSs, decided to code sites from scratch and not going back. Yeah, it depends. They can be very problematic, There's no question about that. No arguing there. How are we doing? 33 minutes. Okay, I'm going to be wrapping this up, so I save my voice for tomorrow. I hacked all your database and got all your courses for free. Go versus Rust. Good streaming time. Good. Love from Tamil. I agree. WordPress is not a real engineering, in my opinion. Hey, Stef, I would love your take on managing hosting for my clients as passive income lead. I develop web apps, but also static sites. Should I go for that reseller? Should I go for a reseller cPanel account? It could be good. Depending on how many you want to onboard. The problem is you don't want to get those calls. I can't configure my email address, and they just keep not adding their password properly. So you could try it out for a short time. I used to do it, but I sold the hosting thing a while back. So you may want to look at that. But it's doable. It's doable. Thanks for the feedback. I was thinking of doing a tutorial project first, so I guess a familiarity also is doing tutorial projects part of tutorial hell. Yeah, you want to do fundamentals first. Then the tutorials they're very easy afterwards. Anyway, like in my fundamental courses, there's all kinds of tutorials that you're doing in there as you're building. It's this typical, Ethan, that's the typical route that a lot of beginners think. They think they can get ahead by just jumping into tutorial. Tutorials are good, but fundamentals first. It's kind of a blend of tutorial fundamental training, and then you'll get there much faster if that's your goal. Which pattern should we learn first? Well, MVC is the most important out there. There's a lot of design patterns, and some people come up with all kinds of patterns. I like MVC, I like facade, I like dependency injection. They call it, back when I was doing the Java days, I used to call them filters. Those are the basic patterns that I use. Iterator, there's other patterns that we use that are built into the core of languages to begin with. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Some people say, how do I organize my day? I'm kind of old school. So I go to the dollar store or whatever, and I buy these things. And they're a few bucks. They're just empty pages. And I write my notes down, and I can tear them out. And these are like a few bucks. I like doing these. So I buy a few of them at a time. So that's what I do to organize, because when I write notes on my computer, I tend to lose them all the time. So that's the first thing. So if you're a total beginner to web design, you like to read, I have my book, which is on Amazon now. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. So you can find it on Amazon, link below this video. So it's got a lot of visuals, a lot of pictures. It's really there to teach the beginnings of web design development. It's a few years old, but it's still up to date. I wrote this thing to be evergreen. So it's all in there for you. Is this camera going to get focused? Yeah, there we go. If you already know how to code and you want to up your game real quickly, then you want to get into refactoring. Refactoring is super important. This is going to level up your game in a big way. This is the Java version, and there is a JavaScript version in the link below. And even if you're doing Python and so on, you're going to learn from this book. This is going to level up your game so quickly. Refactoring is basically a process of refining your code, making it better, making it more efficient. So that's my recommendations there. People are attacking WordPress as if they are super developers, but neglect to say that WordPress sites make millions. Yeah, WordPress is viable. It just depends on what you want to do. It depends what your focus is. We use WordPress. We have our own custom Studioweb app, and then we use WordPress. We use WordPress for our blogs and so on. We developed our own blogging engine, but we decided it was just better to use WordPress. We don't want to get into the business of having to update a blog. In terms of the code base. Should I choose DevOps or data science starting right out of good college with CS degree? You know, I would spend a week or two, dabble with each, spend 2 weeks learning DevOps, spend a couple of weeks on data science. So, it's a very short period of time. And then with that experience, you'll be able to make more intelligent decisions based on what you like to do, but also look at job opportunities, maybe reach out to some data scientists, see what they say about the job, DevOps people. I tend to favor more development-oriented jobs personally. Hi, Jeff. How can you get more clients for a small WordPress site? Marketing, online marketing. Would you transition from WordPress to Laravel background into .NET Stack? Excuse me. Would the transition from WordPress / Laravel background into a .NET Stack be pretty straightforward? And if yes, why do you think this is the case? It's going to be relatively straightforward because the basic constructs of PHP and C# are, I would say 85% the same. So there's stuff, because C# is strongly typed, etc., and there's other constructs that you don't see in PHP, you're going to have to learn those, but it won't be hard. Also, HTTP development, web development, MVC, it's the same, regardless of .NET or PHP, Laravel. So it should be pretty straightforward. So that's why I think that's the case. What did I miss? Who won? Ruby, right? How do I block Aisha? How do I block her? Welcome to the stream. Thanks. Also, can I Google and Stack Overflow when building projects? Of course. That should be one of your skills. In fact, I'm putting out the pro versions of my courses. I call them the pro versions, although they're already pro. They're just going to have some extra updates to them, which you'll get if you get the courses today. Can I Google? Yeah, one of the things I talk about, and I think I mentioned in the fundamental courses, you got to learn to use Google and Stack Overflow as you learn to write code. As you write code, it's a big part of the job. So no worries, man. Hello from Prague, Stefan. Do you think it is a good idea to become a Linux administrator before a website coder? I always lean towards being a developer more than anything else. I'm sure there's opportunity as an administrator in Linux, but I always lean towards it. So what I would do, spend 1 week on each, spend one week learning about Linux, spend 1 week learning a little bit about website coding, like do some coding, maybe 2 weeks each. And then look around at job opportunities, and you'll know what the job opportunities are, and you'll have a good feel of whether you prefer being a Linux administrator or a coder. Give it 2 weeks though, because there's some, you're going to hit some walls, especially if you're learning how to code, some difficulties. So you want to get past that so you get a real feeling for how it really is. Tutorials are okay, but now I love books more because you can put a bookmark and go back to it anytime you like, and you can filter intake. You can filter intake of useless information. Yeah, it's easier to get through things. But you see, Studioweb courses, to shamelessly self-promote, they're designed with that in mind. So they average 6 minutes, and you can play them back at 1.5 speed, 1.25. So let's say you got a 4-minute video. That's why there are hundreds of lessons. It's much easier as a code course creator to have 20-minute lessons and 25-minute lessons and 15-minute lessons. It's much easier than that. It's much harder to divide them up into segments like I do. That's why they're easy to reference. You can go back, I want to learn about function overloading. Okay, boom, it's right there, boom. You don't have to dig within 15 minutes of video to find that, right? And that's so, yeah, you're right, I agree 100%. A very good book. I bought 2. The first I gave away. There you go. Yeah. It's probably talking about this book, refactoring book. This is the Java version. There is a JavaScript version, and it works for any language anyway. MySQL. Hello, yo, sir, from London. All right, yo. I'm gonna experiment. Can I do this? Can I go like this? Can I go like this? No. All right. What would you recommend, books or tutorials, learn programming? They're both good. It has to do more with, let me save it. They both can be good. I recommend Studioweb, but I'm biased, So check out Studioweb. That's my Lizard Wizard course, but I got everything you need. It's money back guarantee. I have nothing to lose. Try my foundations. Try my JavaScript. Try my Python. Try my PHP, Yeah, they're all there for you. Lots of reviews. So, yeah, what's this? I can't say enough about Studioweb. This is from Google, by the way. These are all from Google. I've even started to annoy my family after four dead-end Udemy courses with bestseller ratings and getting nowhere. I finally discovered Stefan on YouTube and decided to tackle his Studioweb Python 3 course, and my comment has skyrocketed. So there you go. There's tons and tons of that kind of stuff. As you can see, it's right on Google Maps. All right, 40 minutes. All right, I promised myself to try to keep it around 30, 40 minutes. So I will see you in the next stream. Thanks for joining. I hope you like this different time. Oh, all right, I have to do it. No, Stefan, it's my book. I got to plug my book. I don't make any money on it anymore. They pay me my cash up front, and then, which wasn't bad. And there we go. So I don't make money. I just keep mentioning it because it's a good book. I really think it's a good book, and you'll learn a lot. You can get it on Amazon for really cheap now. Amazon UK, Amazon US, Amazon Canada. You go read the reviews there. Web design start here. This is for noobs. All right. Thanks for all the help videos. They really helped me. All right. See you guys. Thanks for joining the stream. If you like the stream, please do give it a thumbs up. And I hope the stream was useful for you guys. And if you're learning to code, take your time. You don't need Studioweb to learn to code. You can learn to code in many different places. My advice to you when you're learning, try to do 20 minutes a day. If you hit a frustrating point, don't worry about that. That's normal. It's par for the course, as they say. And that's a good thing, because it means that it's difficult. And for all the people who hit that wall, that difficulty, and they leave and they never learn to code, that just keeps pushing the value up of being a software developer. So don't give up. It's normal that you're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit some difficulty. That's okay. If you reach a point where you're having a lot of difficulty learning a concept, like what's a function or whatever it is, write the code. Even if you don't understand the code, write it, and then come back to it a day or two later. Don't sit there for hours being frustrated, pulling your hair out. See, that's what happened to me, and I got no more hair. So you don't want that to happen to you. yeah, and trust me, you just stay calm, do your 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week, and make that your goal, and you'll start understanding things step by step. But then one day it will all become easy. Trust me. All right, I hope that's useful. Appreciate the thumbs up, and I will end off with the ASMR video here. Ciao.